Hello, this is Twirlz. This is a quilt that might be an easy one or a good one if you're just learning to make quilts. It's not really big. It was made for a kid-size quilt. And I made it a few years ago, but I like the fact that it's got some simple blocks that are good for all quilters to learn how to do the different techniques. So in just a little bit, in just a few days probably, I'm going to be doing some videos on making the different blocks that are in this quilt. The pattern you can find on my website under Twirlz, and right now the download version is a very reduced price. So if you would like to have the paper pattern to follow along with, then download it from my website. It's the download version, and you will find all of the directions more detail. But when we do the blocks on YouTube, we're going to first start with this Twirlz block, and we're going to learn how to make that. We're going to learn how to make these zigzag blocks. They're not hard, and they're a fun block to make. I did my quilt with various backgrounds, black and white, but you don't have to. You can use one background to go with everything if you like. And of course, it's good. If you want to do varied backgrounds, that's fine too. After we get these two main blocks to make the middle of the quilt, we're also going to learn about making this inner border with these pointy geese blocks. And then these borders are pieced with pieced little rectangles, so we're going to work on how you add those kind of borders to a quilt. And finally, just the outer border. Some of the things to think about when you're making a quilt, especially if you're redoing something that you want to make a little bigger or a little smaller than what you see, is the size of your blocks. So we're going to also talk about size of the blocks. These blocks in this quilt in the center are all 6-inch finished blocks. 6-inch finished blocks are very easy to work with when you're making a quilt, when you're designing a quilt. So there are types of blocks that are more easy to work with than others. If you wanted to make a quilt and use a 7 3/4 inch finished block, doesn't work well. Not at all. So it's more easy to use like a whole number for one thing, but also certain numbers are easier to work with when you're dividing them up into blocks. So we'll talk about that also. So if you'd like to join me, that will be starting pretty soon. This is Twirlz, and you can find it on Presto Avenue Designs. You can find the pattern and follow along on my YouTube channel. Thank you.